Good evening. Winners in the 5th round of the Cup can seriously begin to fantasise about sunny afternoons at Wembley in May. Wimbledon enjoyed that experience in 1988, creating one of the great Cup shocks.
Sanchez was in there. It's a goal for Wimbledon. Laurie Sanchez.
Today they were away to Huddersfield, riding high in Division 1. Dave Besant, whose penalty save helped Wimbledon to that Cup final success, nowadays keeps goal for Southampton, of course. And they were away to a team managed by a former Cup winner, Steve McMahon, 2nd Division Swindon. Biggest upset of this season's Cup, Ipswich Town's away win at Blackburn. But could they contain the Premiership's hottest goal scorer of the moment, Dwight York and Aston Villa? The day's 3 big Cup games coming right up. Plus we have Premiership highlights. And our former Cup winners, Alan and Gary, will have their points of view. Huddersfield Town's best days in the FA Cup were all before the Second World War, but their future has recently been looking bright. A brand new stadium and competing strongly for a return to the big time. The visitors were Wimbledon, and before the match, watched by Tony Gubba, there was a minute's silence in honour of Bob Paisley, as there was at all the grounds today.
Huddersfield has seen a few improvements since Match of the Day last visited this famous old club. An award-winning new stadium and a team turning back the clock. Promotion into the Premiership as realistic a target as a place in the last 8 of the FA Cup. Well, striker Andy Booth wasn't born when Huddersfield dropped out of the old First Division 24 years ago, but 43 goals in a season and a half are helping to reawaken this sleeping giant. And 2 familiar names in Huddersfield's lineup. Number 5, Lee Sinnott, played for Watford in the 1984 FA Cup final. And number 8, Lee Makel, who made half a dozen appearances in the Premiership this season with Blackburn. Wimbledon are seeking their 2nd FA Cup win in the space of 5 days, with the same team that beat Middlesbrough 1-0 in Tuesday's replay, with Mick Harford again asked to fill a role in midfield. Referee Paul Alcock of Red Hill. And the last time Huddersfield reached the quarter-finals was the same season that they dropped out of Division 1 and subsequently fell as far as Division 4. But the rebuilding is well underway, and Wimbledon will be in for quite a scrap this afternoon. Cowan to lift this first throw deep into the penalty area. Bullock comes underneath it. Darren Bullock, playing non-league football as recently as 2 years ago, but under Brian Horton, following Neil Warnock, the previous manager, has been shaped into a very good league player, now a regular choice. Harford trying to bring it out. Leonardson can perhaps complete the job. That was a bit slapdash. Here's Bullock, he'll hit it. Oh, Huddersfield almost carving out a decent chance. Darren Bullock, who scored an FA Cup goal against Peterborough here, opting to hit that from a fair distance. There was quite a lot of space in front of him. That's a free kick, foul on Reed by Leonardson. Rowe trying to turn his mark. It's Rowe! What a dream start! What a mistake by first Chris Perry and then Neil Sullivan. The Huddersfield trainee, whose career here nearly came to an end, he got free of Chris Perry and then he poked it right through the legs of Sullivan. Holdsworth always looks dangerous in that sort of position, even when he's got his back to goal. A bit like Ian Rush, really. Harford. Well, he's playing that role in midfield today, Mick Harford, but he doesn't need much encouraging to come forward. In his 19th season as a professional, 2 England caps in the locker from way back. By Gray, and well won. Knocked in by Alan Reeves. Here's Holdsworth. Well done, Holdsworth. Oh, good save. Steve Francis across to his near post to block that after Holdsworth had taken it very well on his chest. Wimbledon just enjoying a spell of pressure. After 2 seasons keeping Manchester City in the Premier Division, Brian Horton took over here after Huddersfield had won the playoffs. Cowan misdirected. Work on that 4th stand begins in the summer on what is now the car park. Ikoku. Harford let it run to Cunningham. Holdsworth at the near post. It's a good flick on. Gale! Well, they're continuing to carve 1 or 2 chances, the Premier Division side, and Dean Holdsworth involved in everything. Just a little flick on to the back post where Marcus Gale waited, and he may well have done better with that. Well, Joe Kinnear, 3rd longest serving manager in the Premiership these days, behind Howard Wilkinson and Alex Ferguson. Knocked in by Mick Harford, off Cowan, corner. Well, they do like to put players into the penalty area for these set pieces, Wimbledon. Always looking for a knockdown. Andy Thorne there, one of the substitutes, been out for 15 games. They don't look too worried at the moment. Kimball will take it. Leonardson hits it very well. Cracked off the woodwork. And that's as close as they've come. The Norwegian international came initially to Wimbledon on loan, and then the move became permanent. He'd beaten Francis, but didn't weak the woodwork. Harford into Gale. Just not able to get the ball to the front players at the moment, Huddersfield. Ikoku. Well, it's a great ball in by Kimball. Harford stretched. Didn't make contact. But the pressure beginning to mount for Huddersfield. Took the lead as early as the 7th minute. They've been under pretty constant pressure since. Mick Harford. They've still got plenty of players forward, Wimbledon. Huddersfield with their backs to the wall. Cunningham knocks it in. Gale will retrieve it. Kimball supports him. Holdsworth. Kimball's ball has the keeper scrambling across his line, and it's another corner, and you just feel that Huddersfield's defence can't really continue to hold out. Kimball takes it. Harford came to try and meet it, but Bullock got there first. Kimball can steady himself. Earl's header. Harford off the bar. That's twice they've hit the woodwork. And still they're a goal down, Wimbledon. Well, he hasn't yet scored this season, Mick Harford, but he steered that one very well. Now Huddersfield at last managed to break out. Here's Reed. Rowe comes out of the middle. Dalton's header. Well, he smiles, he met it quite well. It certainly warmed the fingers of Neil Sullivan. Might have done more than that if it hadn't been straight at him. Holdsworth. He's got Cunningham available. Oh, he doesn't need him. That's a good ball in. They must score now. They have. Well, it's ruled out. Paul Alcock standing his ground, and the linesman on this near side decides that Ikoku must have been offside. Cut back by Dean Holdsworth. Well, he seemed to come from an onside position, but of course the linesman always has the best view of it. Marcus Gale, as we move into stoppage time, looking for Ikoku as the defender. Well, he knew that Ikoku was behind him. He wasn't sure whether Francis would get it. So Jenkins putting it out. And Wimbledon ending the half as they've played 99% of it, bearing down on Huddersfield's goal. Another set piece and a posse of red shirts, but as the ball is in the air, the whistle goes. It's been 38 minutes of defending for Huddersfield since Rodney Rowe gave them the lead in the 7th minute, and the problem for Brian Horton in the dressing room at half-time will be to sort out some way in which his team can get the ball forward and apply some pressure of their own on Wimbledon's goal. 1 or 2 breakaways, but really nothing that's threatened to add to the one they scored. And there are 45 more minutes, very serious defending to do for the team from Division 1. Huddersfield 1, Wimbledon 0. Huddersfield's decline in the 70s was a swift one, 3 relegations in 4 seasons. It's been a long, hard battle to get back to where they are, and the next 45 minutes may be more of the same. Ikoku. Here's Gale for Wimbledon. It's behind for a goal kick. Away by Perry. Gray losing out to a pair of Wimbledon players. Here's Ikoku. Made room for himself. Ikoku. Shot was blocked, and again, and blocked a second time. Huddersfield continue to live very dangerously, and here's Booth. Gets away from Reeves. And it was Chris Perry, the other centre-back, who got in the telling tackle. And maybe Andy Booth has been told by his manager at half-time to be just a little bit more direct. We didn't see much of the quality which has brought Premier scouts here in number. Makel wasn't well directed. Neither was that. Reed. Booth. Brings Makel back into it. There's Rowe. Gale put it out. So Huddersfield have the corner. Well, Wimbledon have needed replays in each round of the Cup so far. They drew away in the 3rd round and the 4th round at Watford and Middlesbrough, and then won each of the replays by 1-0. Holdsworth back to help. Oh, that's a great header! Huddersfield lead by 2-0, and would you believe it, it's the left back Tom Cowan. What on earth is he doing popping up there? A real stunner for Wimbledon. And a super goal. He got airborne early and he redirected it perfectly. A player who they signed from Sheffield United. He spent 3 seasons with Rangers up in Scotland, although he was never a regular choice for the Rangers' first 11. That's his 3rd goal of the season, and what a corker. And suddenly Wimbledon's task has been doubled. And here's Rowe. Kimball just hooks it out. Gale, who helps it on. Ikoku. Ikoku chases. Sinstadt stays with him. Hansen. Well, that was the chance to knock the confident smile off the face of Huddersfield. Again, Wimbledon do everything but score, and surely Hansen should have done. And as an immediate response to that second Huddersfield goal, it couldn't have been better timed. Well, Huddersfield have been in the quarter-final of the FA Cup only twice in the last 50 years, 1955, 1972, but it's a real possibility here in 1996. They stay in play. Here's Booth. Hansen. Andy Clark. Ikoku! They've pulled one back. And the surprise really is that it's been so long in coming. They've had so much pressure, Wimbledon. And Ikoku with that goal in the 65th minute. So it's going to be a test of Huddersfield's resolve over these last 25 minutes. It's the first goal they've conceded in just over 4.5 games, and now Joe Kinnear much more agitated. They're searching balls. Harford knocked it down for Hansen, and it's another one that's gone over the top. They do push bodies into that penalty area, Wimbledon. Must be a nightmare for defenders. Everywhere you look, there's a red shirt and there's pressure. But it's Wimbledon's finishing which has really let them down. Hansen's had a couple of good chances. This is Ikoku. Again, there are 5 to look for in the penalty area. Andy Clark's one of them. Over the top. Harford! Well, Wimbledon's chances must surely now be in double figures, but it's only once that they've scored. Well, what sort of a finish has this cup tie got in store for us? Wimbledon will pile on the pressure. Here's Hansen, well struck. It's stuck. That was the important thing for Steve Francis. 1 or 2 have squirmed away this afternoon. We're looking at a couple of minutes left, and Joe Kinnear's team about to be put out of the FA Cup, or are they? Ikoku. They certainly won't go down without a fight. Ikoku trying to make room for a cross, and he has. It's over Francis, but fortunately for Huddersfield it's over the attackers too. Kimball. Earl's waiting. Architect's loose. What a desperate scrap. And listen, the cheers as Dunn brings it out. Well, he's adding plenty of time. We're into a 3rd minute of stoppage time. But there were two quite long breaks for injuries to Huddersfield players. Here's Hansen. That's Bullock, goes in powerfully, but he's conceded a corner. Well, your heart will go out to Huddersfield if they concede a goal here. No disrespect to Wimbledon, but they're so close to the glittering prize. There seem to be more attackers than defenders. It's in! Ikoku! Oh dear! Well, you have to say credit to Wimbledon, really. There was nothing left on the clock, and they just put virtually everybody into that penalty area. There were more red shirts than striped ones. And Francis came, and there were just too many players in front of him. He didn't get it. Defender on the line got a touch, but it was up into the roof of the net. And after 2.5 minutes of stoppage time, Wimbledon have taken the scoreline to 2-2, and as they did in rounds 3 and 4, look as if they forced a replay, and they won the other two against Watford and Middlesbrough. And Huddersfield's dream afternoon, well, it's still an achievement surely at 2-2, but it might have been so much more. And there's the final whistle. It's a heartbreak afternoon. They scored early in each half, Huddersfield. Credit to Wimbledon, who kept them under pressure throughout the 90 minutes. And in the end, it was that pressure that told. It was just a corner too many, really. And Wimbledon pushed everybody forward, everybody but the goalkeeper, it seemed. And Ikoku's second goal of the match gives Wimbledon a draw that just didn't seem likely. It's Huddersfield 2, it's Wimbledon 2, and they'll have to scrap it out all over again.
Lee, you had the disappointment of an FA Cup defeat at Wembley with Watford. How does this compare?
I think this compares more or less on the same level. To come so close and to have your name more or less in the hat and then have it snatched away is, it's been a hard cross to bear for us.
But they put you under so much pressure that in the end, really, you couldn't complain about them getting an equaliser.
No, not on the result. I think if they'd have equalised something like 10 minutes to go, it's not so bad. But as I said, they equalised with more or less the last kick of the game. But I think they did deserve something out of the game, yeah.
You're making it hard for yourselves, aren't you? 3 cup ties, 3 draws, a couple of replays you've already got through. Now you've got another replay.
Yeah, we've done a lot of travelling in the last month or so. But fortunately now we've got a chance to get into the last 8 on our ground. And I'm sure that we'll be favourites, but if Huddersfield ride their luck like they did this afternoon, then it's going to be difficult. But, if we have a bit of our own luck, and then we should be safely through.
I thought we conceded a bad first goal. And the players know who they are concerned. Trying to probably be clever when we've gone 2-0 up.
But in fairness to Wimbledon, they would look back on that game and say they had 80% of it. They had you under pressure for a long time.
Not 80%, no.
70s then?
Yeah, steady.
60?
Maybe. I think a draw overall, to be fair, is probably the right result. But when you go so close, it's a corner last seconds, and I think everybody knew that maybe it was the last one.
And I was just disappointed. I've got to give them a bit of credit because they pushed us for quite a way. But I think if any justice was done, we deserved to get the goal at the end. I'd have been bitterly disappointed, and we've been on the floor, as they are probably. And now we've got a replay to look forward to. And, maybe you do need a little bit of luck in this competition, and maybe our name's on it. You just never know.
The Huddersfield fans will be hugely disappointed about that, but it was a cracking cup tie, that one.
Great cup tie. It had everything you could ask for in a cup tie. It had tension, had excitement, had the dramatic finish and 4 goals. You couldn't ask for any more.
But you feel, don't you, that Huddersfield contributed to their disappointment in the long run at the end?
Yeah, I thought Wimbledon had the chances to win any game, but when you're 2-1 up, 90 minutes have gone, I just thought they're a little bit naive. I think you've got to try and get the ball into the corner, and kill the game off. This is actually a 92nd minute. They're under enormous pressure, but eventually they clear it, and it comes out to Dunn the far side. Now Wimbledon have got so many men forward, there's oceans of space here. Now he gets it and he has a decent run down the pitch, but for me, I'd be shouting from the bench, get into the corner and stay there for a minute at least. But he tries to come inside, he loses the ball and Wimbledon go in the attack. This is the 93rd minute of the game, and it's the same thing. Dalton the ball here, get it in the corner. You know, just kill the game off. Don't try and score another goal. They get away with that, and it goes for a throw-in. Just take your time, kill it off. But what they do is they take it quickly, and people watching would think this was good play, but I think it's astonishingly naive. The last thing you want to do in this instance is give it the keeper. Bullock throws it in, the keeper picks it up, he knocks it down the pitch, and Wimbledon get a corner. Now, the Huddersfield keeper's played well in the day, but he makes a mistake here. If he comes for this, then he's got to get it. The moment he comes off his line, he's got to take everything with him. He misses it, a Koku header, and then it's equalizer. He played really well in the day, the keeper. You know, he handled everything very, very well, but he definitely made a mistake there.
So naive on the day, in the end. Huddersfield, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
One player caught your eye.
Well, they had one or two decent players in the day. The keeper played well. I thought Rodney Rowe up front, bit of pace. But for me, Tom Cowan, the left back, he's only 5'8". He's got this long throw-in that caused problems all afternoon, but he's dominant in the air, and he chipped him with a goal. This is an example of his aerial ability. This is a fantastic header for somebody at 5 feet. Watch the spring here. He gets up magnificently well, and look at the length of the header here. It goes for miles back to the Wimbledon keeper. And for a left back at 5'8", it's unusual for somebody that height to go up for a corner. But we circle him here, he makes a great run to the near post. And again, a wonderful leap, and fully deserved that goal. But I think at the end of the day, a draw was a fair result.
They have to meet again. Well, for both Swindon and Southampton, it was the second cup match of the week. On paper, a tough tie for the Premiership side, away to the leaders of Division 2. Commentary here from Clive Tyldesley.
Nobody leaves early today. Swindon Town reached the 5th round courtesy of a last-minute winner against Oldham here on Monday. Southampton, thanks to a last-minute goal line clearance at Crewe on Tuesday. The road to Wembley gets very narrow in parts. Swindon's Paul Allen has got all the way down it on 3 occasions. A cup winner as both a West Ham and a Tottenham player. He started this season as a Southampton player. Allen plays at right back in a 5-man Swindon defence, anchored by Ian Culverhouse. Player-manager Steve McMahon is ruled out by a hamstring injury, so number 8, Martin Ling, who came on to score that late goal against Oldham, is in from the start today. So is Southampton's Francis Benali, called in because Mark Walters has failed a fitness test. Captain Barry Venison is still injured too. Keeper Dave Besant was the Wimbledon captain who lifted the cup in 1988, and amongst those looking on from the beaten Liverpool team that day, Steve McMahon. Robbie Hart, who has this week chosen to referee this season's Coca-Cola Cup final, is in charge today. Southampton find Swindon in their very best run of a very good season. 6 wins in 7 games so far this year. Their home record is good, their defensive record at home particularly good, and they fervently believe they can win this tie. Barry Venison all wrapped up. Move to Southampton has cramped his style a little bit because they wear club blazers on match days. He can't wear those garish jackets he usually treats us to. Charlton. Letitia. Magilton. Well, that's an ambitious pass. If he's got a bit of backspin on it, it's perfect for Dodd. Gooden across there, and Dodd has won a corner. Liked the pass from Magilton, didn't he? Didn't clear the first defender, who was Bodin. Charlton again. Got past Robinson. Watson with the overhead. Not too far away. Robinson's error exposed Fraser Digby, and Gordon Watson whipped it over his shoulder, but over the crossbar too. Southampton are having a good spell now. Benali, Widrington, Magilton, Watson, Letitia. Oh, where did he come from? Widrington. Well, they were opening doors all over the place there. Swindon Town just couldn't work out where the next pass was going. Le Tissier with the final ball into Tommy Widrington, who'd come from deep, and whose shot was straight at Fraser Digby. Deserved better. That's a better ball from Hall into the path of Le Tissier. Popping up on the left. Watson threw himself at it. Taylor and then Robinson smuggling it away. Dodd. Shipley. Magilton. Watson. Jason Dodd again. Jim Magilton again. Gordon Watson's touch. This is Neil Shipley. It's awkward, but Simon Charlton couldn't quite reach it. Kept in by Le Tissier. Charlton's there again, so is Watson, but so too is Sean Taylor, the Swindon captain. It's a close run thing for a moment. Bit gridlocked in midfield. Here's Allison stretching his legs against Moncard and winning a corner. A more direct approach, reaping some dividends. Sean Taylor, the skipper, just coming into the picture there. Robinson is up from the back too. This is Ling to Allen. And now Bodin. And there's Allison. Oh, and Besson was a little fortunate there. It fell for Magilton. It could have come to anybody. Culverhouse. Allen. First real alarm for Southampton. Allen keeping the pressure on. Thorne's in there. Important header away by Francis Benali. Magilton finding Shipley. Given away though. Martin Ling. Paul Allen. Mark Robinson. And they'll just run out of play beyond Peter Thorne. Dave Besson launched himself at that to keep out Allison's header. It could easily have come for Horlock, couldn't it? I don't think anybody can hear what she's shouting. Thorne. Allen. Horlock's on his way. This is Thorne. Now Horlock. Real sign of goal for Kevin Horlock. He scored. The second division leaders are in the lead. Kevin Horlock, the goal scorer. And a credit to the kind of football that Steve McMahon's team have tried to play today. They passed their way through a Premiership defence. Thorne with the final pass for Horlock, who is naturally left-footed, but who waited his moment and lifted it calmly over Besson with his right foot. Horlock goes into double figures for the season. And Swindon Town into the lead. Charlton. Well, they're surrounded then. Watson though. Here's Le Tissier, or it would have been, but for Gooden. Robinson as far as Benali. Now Widrington. Now Dodd. Blocked by Bodin. Magilton. Dodd. Le Tissier, beautiful. In towards Watson. Goal kick given. Marvellous control there. Completely wrong-footed Ty Gooden and created the opportunity for an early cross. Not much getting past Fraser Digby these days though. In his last 9 games he's kept 7 clean sheets, and that's the problem Southampton have got now, breaking Swindon down. Gooden out of play. Magilton. Benali. Magilton thought about having a go. This is Dodd. In goes Charlton. It's a good challenge though from Ian Culverhouse. Charlton did well to reach it first, but he was under challenge when he headed the ball. Well, Swindon Town have successfully bridged the gap so far. It's about as much as Southampton have been able to manage in this first period. Digby hasn't really been stretched. Kevin Horlock, one of the players who was in the Swindon side in the Premiership a couple of seasons back, scored the goal which has put another Premiership side in danger at half-time. The new look FA Cup draw may not be everyone's cup of tea, but Swindon Town have no complaints so far this season. 5 home draws in a row, 4 wins so far, no replays necessary, and only 1 goal conceded. Blackburn Rovers in the League Cup are the only team to have scored more than 1 goal on this ground so far this season. Matt Le Tissier didn't quite get hold of it. It was on target. Swindon Town certainly wouldn't care to allow him that kind of chance again between now and the end of the game. Look at him drifting between defenders. Bowden gave him that yard. Dave Merrington sitting alongside Laurie McMenemy. Here goes Allison. Thorne and Linger in support. Cut out by Widrington. This is Charlton. Shipley pulling into a good position. It's a good cross too to Simon Charlton. Well, he did the correct thing. He headed it down into the ground. Then it bounced up and over the crossbar. Excellent centre-forward play again by Neil Shipley. Good support from midfield by Simon Charlton. Got there first. Horlock won it for Thorne. This is Gooden. Well, it's neither one thing nor the other, really. Allison was up in support, hoping for a cross. Gooden was hoping for a blazing shot into the far corner. Neither occurred. Paul's header conceding the throw. Swindon certainly won't want to take any chances. They were 2 up here against Blackburn in that League Cup tie earlier in the season and were beaten 3-2. Drysdale's cross. Thorne's there! Well, he looks inquiringly in the direction of the linesman. He felt he got a little nudge on the way. If anything, he just seemed to run past the curling cross. Maybe he felt that he was pushed past the cross. Jason Dodd. He's hit another one, and that's just wide. Tuesday night, Gresty Road crew, same position. It flew in from the left foot of Jason Dodd. Saturday afternoon, County Ground Swindon, just missed the post. And that may be the difference between winning and losing a cup tie. Watson. Le Tissier. He's found Maskell, and he's found Widrington. Away by Digby. Shipley. Digby again. Standing ovation for the Swindon goalkeeper. It's his 10th season with the club, his testimonial season. And having pushed the ball sufficiently wide to give Shipley a little angle, he managed to shore up his near post area. He would take a lot of pleasing, I would think, as a manager. Paul not happy. Free kick has been given. Little over a quarter of an hour left to play. Kevin Horlock with a free kick. Here comes Taylor. Paul's header. Actually back across the face of goal, but smuggled away by Shipley initially. Now Thorne, and now Allison! He won't need telling what a chance that was to kill off the game. Thorne got the touch on, and suddenly the chance was there for Allison. It did sort of bounce up to thigh height, and he couldn't keep it down. Magilton. Letitia, Widrington, Letitia, Shipley, Letitia, great challenging. Charlton blasted back in there, but somehow Swindon Town just threw a red blanket to smother that Southampton attack. An attack of several dangerous moments, but always a defender hurting himself in the way. Watson's there, it's in! Gordon Watson has equalised for Southampton with 14 minutes to spare. To the goal scorer of the glory, but what a corner by the man in the foreground, Matthew Letitia. Hit with pace and swing. It just needed a touch to help it on its way, and Watson provided that touch. By Hall. Shipley trying to make something of it. Culverhouse just hooks it out of harm's way and wonders why Fraser Digby didn't come to get it in the first place. Right at the business end of the match now, last 8 minutes. Letitia to Dodd. Digby punching, didn't really have to. Widrington will catch that all right. Robinson. This is Finney. Moncau back there. Given straight to Robinson. Held up by Charlton. Free kick given. Southampton have only suffered one defeat in their last 10 games. They've become a stubborn old side in recent weeks. Swindon have similar figures, one defeat in their last 12. And neither side could quite crack the combination today. We'll do it all again at the Dell on Wednesday week. For a long time it looked like Kevin Horlock's goal might be enough for Swindon, but inside the last quarter of an hour, Gordon Watson equalised. Southampton haven't lost at the Dell for 3 months now. They'll start favourites on the 28th. Swindon's cup run moves out of town for the first time, but such is the second division leaders' confidence level. They will still fancy their chances. They had a big chance today and couldn't quite take it. They finished 1-1.
Our players are very disappointed because we don't think we played particularly well today. We battled. I mean, we done what we know we can do, but I think we paid them a bit too much respect early on, especially.
I think one of the important things when you're working with a team is to try and get them to keep their composure. It's so easy to get frustrated when you've worked so hard and everything's going your way, but you can't score. And I thought they kept their nerve, they kept playing football, and eventually got their rewards.
At what stage of a match like that does it start to go through your mind that maybe this is going to get away from you?
Probably about 5 minutes before we actually scored, when Simon Charlton hit it over the bar from like 5 or 6 yards out. So we started thinking, well, just got to keep going, and hopefully it'll go in.
I sense a confidence about this place whereby you won't be daunted by the possibility of playing at the Dell now.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's not that long ago that this club was in the Premiership. The players are geared up for that. I mean, our main priority is to get out of this division, and it's a great tester for us to play against a side like Southampton.
I didn't see that gulf between the second and the first and the Premier, and hopefully we can bridge that gap even more come the end of the season. But yeah, they're great games to play, aren't they? And it gives our lads a taste of what they could be doing. And so nearly quarter-finals. Well, it's not over yet, and that's what I'm saying to them. Go and enjoy yourselves again at Southampton.
Now, Gary, let's have your thoughts on that match.
Well, I don't think it was a great game. I thought Southampton played reasonably well and stuck at it. Swindon, I thought Steve McMahon got it right. They battled, they worked tremendously hard for each other, defended very well. But one thing they did do was score a terrific goal. And it was probably the best move of the whole game. And it starts here with Wayne Allison in possession, who knocks it in actually to Kevin Horlock, who's the eventual goal scorer. He continues his run forward and the ball's knocked around between Paul Allen and Peter Thorne. Keeps going. Benali stops, doesn't go with him, gives him the opportunity, and he stays calm. Dave Besant went down a little bit early and Horlock stuck it in well. Now in that situation you expect Le Tissier circled there to be the man to get Southampton back in the game, and he did show one or two really good flicks and created a few things, but by and large Swindon played him very well. They got tight to him, they got bodies close to him, and he lacks a little bit of pace, so if you can get people around him and digging in and tackling like that, then you're going to cause him problems. Here he's circled again, the ball gets played out wide by Magilton into a wide position, but just watch Le Tissier's movement in the middle. He's strolling, he's walking, it doesn't look like he's desperately interested in the game, but that's him. He knows also, and he also proves that you can find space by not moving too much, but when he does eventually pick it up again, three of them in there, battling and just denying him space, three Swindon players within a yard of him. And that's how it was for him all afternoon, but you can't mark him at corners. Terrific ball in, and Watson let superbly, and there's the evidence that they actually hit the stanchion. But they kept at it, Southampton. I think they certainly deserve something out of the game.
They'll now be favourites, of course.
Well, certainly back at the Dell. They're always difficult to beat there against second division opposition. I'll back them to go through.
Thank you. For Aston Villa, Dwight Yorke has been in sparkling form. 8 goals in 6 games before today. Villa were away to Ipswich, the First Division's top scorers, who'd had that victory at Blackburn in round 3. This one watched by Gerald Sinstadt.
When these clubs last met here 10 months ago, Ipswich were in the middle of a run of 7 games without scoring, and Villa's goal that day was their only one in 8 matches. What's more, it was an 89th minute own goal. Well, much has changed in 10 months. The home side are now the top scorers in Division 1 of the Ensley League, though today they're still missing leading scorer Alec Mathy. James Scowcroft continues to deputise. The only change from the team that beat Walsall on Tuesday is in defence. Klaus Thompson, the Danish international, has recovered from his illness and returns in place of John Walk. Aston Villa's manager, Brian Little, he's resisted any temptation to recall Paul McGrath and sticks with the side that drew with Arsenal on Wednesday in the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final. No need to underline the contribution of Dwight Yorke. 6 goals in the last 3 games will do that. And will the scoring form be carried through into today's cup tie? Well, of 21 outfield players who've been named by the two sides, 18 have scored this season. Ipswich, their first trip, blue shirts and white shorts, playing from the right. Dwight Yorke will be a threat through the middle, and a lot will defend for Ipswich on Mason playing wide on the right and Milton wide on the left, containing the way that the Villa wing-backs Wright and Charles will seek to get forward. At the moment, the initiative with Ipswich through Stockwell. Steve Staunton retaining his place back for the last 4 games after a long absence with injury. Johnson will always have a go. The fact that he was nearly 30 yards out doesn't inhibit him. Sat nicely for him on the volley. Just doesn't dip enough at the end. Marshall had come deep, so Scowcroft was alone up front. Draper from all of 25, maybe 30 yards in the first 10 minutes, puts Aston Villa in front. Well, no matter how much you mark, if you allow the man deep a bit of space, he's always likely to have a pop. Got to have got a couple of those, and Draper was the man on the mark then. The ball keeps coming back at Ipswich. And they've got another corner to defend now. Tony Mowbray has played every game since he arrived in October. It's gone in, off the post, and well, will York be credited with it? Certainly that's the man who's getting the congratulations. Well, the defender may have been over the line, or he may have helped it in. Stockwell it was. Back in by Mason. And Bosnich really had to make a good save. Simon Milton testing the Aston Villa goalkeeper for the first time in the game. Turned across by Mason and then by Stockwell, and first time a very good effort indeed from Simon Milton. Scowcroft on the line, Bosnich coming to see if he can get his hands above everyone, and does comfortably. George Gurley wondering whether this can be retrieved. Williams. And coming. A very good move, certainly about the best that we've seen from Ipswich. Stockwell starting it, Marshall involved, and then Mason only just wide of the post. Oh dear. York feeding Milosevic, and Milosevic slipping it the wrong side of the post. Isn't that the story of his life? It got a little touch, but I'm not sure that was good enough to go in any case. This is a player with a lot of skill who's a wee bit short on confidence. Just a touch from the goalkeeper's hand. Staunton knocking it in. Ian Taylor makes it 3. Staunton's left foot, little nudge by Taylor, and a header just inside the post, too good for Richard Wright. Oh, also a little nudge by Taylor, didn't see it there. Williams. Stockwell, Milton. Deflection, and a very good change of direction by Bosnich. The deflection by Staunton took enough weight off the ball to allow Bosnich to get back across his goal. It had been fiercely struck by Milton. Really hard hit, and Bosnich was going the other way, very alert. Struggle going on between Marshall and Staunton, which Marshall won. That's Thompson. Williams. Sedgley. Marshall laying it up wide. Scowcroft calling for it on the far edge of the 6-yard area. Good knockdown. Milton's shot on the volley. And Ipswich really playing some football in this second half. It was another very good move. Good deep cross. Scowcroft had peeled off. Excellent nod down. And good body shape from Milton on the volley. Milosevic. Taylor going outside him and Milosevic going on his own. Now can he find a shooting angle? Now he's made one and he's put it past the post again. They must have bigger goals in Yugoslavia. Did well to resist the pull on the arm. Did well then to lose the next man, or I think it was Sedgley. Couldn't find the net. Hansen going forward for the return, and it wasn't a very good one. Uhlenbeek. That was a good ball. It was a little too high for Scowcroft, and it came at Ian Marshall at shin height, and he couldn't connect with it. Mowbray to Uhlenbeek. Looking for the cross again, this time low, and at last Ipswich have got into the game through Mason. May well be too little too late with 11 minutes left, but Uhlenbeek's arrival has made the difference. Just hit one very tempting cross, this time hits one low, and Mason got a toe to it, and Bosnich is beaten by his near post. Nice sharp touch, and Bosnich couldn't get down quickly enough. Burley will get his team back to the serious business of getting back into the Premiership at the first attempt. Here they've been beaten by 3-1 by a very solid, competent, well-organised performance by Aston Villa, started by a stunning goal from Mark Draper, and then adding goals from Dwight York and Ian Taylor before Paul Mason pulled one back. 3-1 the final score. What might it have been if Milosevic had known where the goal was?
We came here to have a go at them. We have a mentality in so much as if you come to these games and sit back, then you're going to cause problems for yourself. And to be honest, we're not, despite what people say about our defensive record, we feel we're quite an adventurous side, and we just approach the game with a positive attitude. Got an early goal and never looked back, really.
You see Villa's strengths, you try to nullify them, and you have your own plan. When they score an early goal, it certainly makes it difficult. Then we conceded one straight after it, really. So it was always going to be tough, but the players kept playing on. But it was always going to be a difficult game.
And Savo Milosevic is doing everything right except put the ball in the net.
Yeah, we think he's good quality. I mean, we think the partnership he has with Dwight is a pest to the opposition. They're pests, you know. They're always wanting the ball. They're always receiving the ball. They're always prepared to take people on. They're quite prepared to have efforts on goal. At the moment, everything's going for Dwight. Nothing's going for Savo, but his contribution in the team is first class.
You can only get 7-2 about Villa actually winning the cup now. But as a top exponent of the striker's art, what do you think of this man, Dwight York?
Well, he's certainly in terrific form at the moment. I think he's helped by and large by the fact that he's now playing out and out as a striker. We've seen him flit about a little bit on the wing, other times perhaps in midfield or between the two, but he's really playing as an out-and-out goal scorer, and he looks like that at the moment. To emphasise it, I'm not actually going to show his goal, which was relatively simple today and bad defending. I'm going to show Draper's goal, which was certainly probably the goal of the day in the cup. Terrific strike. Probably swerved, keeper's footwork wasn't great, but there's York circled. Now if you look in any frame of any photograph in a newspaper or a television picture like that, a genuine goal scorer will nearly always be in it when the ball's in the net, whether he scored it or not.
There or thereabouts, as they say.
Yeah, you've got to be there.
He plays with a smile on his face too. He's a good ambassador for the game.
He's certainly got a smile on his face at the moment, the way the goal's gone in, but he does all round, and I think that's a typical West Indian sort of relaxed character, really. He's enjoying the game, and he's certainly enjoying it at the moment.
We did as well. Play with a smile on your face.
You've never had a smile on your face. Well, there's one.
Perfect example of it there and then. Well, I hope you have a smile on your face tomorrow for our live match, but as we're very much looking forward to that. Of course, we'll be at Old Trafford for the Manchester Derby, and the 6th round draw will follow that, so join us tomorrow afternoon. We haven't finished yet, mind you, so stay where you are. We've got 3 Premiership matches which were played today. First, it's 2 struggling teams, Middlesbrough against Bolton.
In the words of Captain Mannering, don't panic is the message Brian Robson needs to ram home to his ailing Middlesbrough side. Bolton's first goal was one for Nathan Blake's Wanderers scrapbook. Not a very big book since his £1.2 million signing, but at least the first entry. Borough without Juninho just can't do anything right. They should have scored here, but some bad luck coming up for Jan Aga Fjortov with that flick cleared off the line. But Middlesbrough did level matters with a move which suggested something of their past form. Jamie Pollock started and finished the raid. Fjortov's lovely cross gave the England under-21 international his first Premiership goal. Never a dull moment in this game, and for Bolton a time of unbridled joy coming up. Their second goal came from Simon Coleman against his old club right on half-time, his first game for 12 months after breaking his leg. Bolton, with only 1 point from a possible 39 away from home, were now unstoppable. Borough's defence paper thin, allowing Fabian de Freitas to slot in his 5th goal of the season. Goal number 4 was another mistake and nightmare for Borough. Sasa Kurcic found David Lee, and the way he cut inside suggested it won't be his only goal of the campaign. Beautifully struck. Bolton, with only one Premiership win since October, let rip their emotions. Borough's fans also did, booing the team off the field. That's their 8th Premiership defeat in a row. Sheffield Wednesday could have climbed away from the danger zone with a win, and early signs were that QPR would continue to be losers. Some neat interpassing allowing Graham Hyde a chance which he took with some panache, his first strike of the season. But Queen's Park Rangers, who'd lost 7 in a row, suddenly found that spirit manager Ray Wilkins knew his side had lurking in its midst somewhere. Full marks to Nigel Quasi, whose persistence gave him the chance to send over a juicy cross. Simon Barker scored, Rangers never looked back. And it was Barker, captain for the day, who deserves a full mention in dispatches for his second goal. This chip from the Ray Wilkins mould, just about as perfect as they come. Will the panel include this for goal of the month? Rangers' third goal rubbed Wednesday's noses in it. First though, the bad news. Gregory Goodrich, the corner taker, was booked for wasting time. When he did get on with it, it was all too quick for Kevin Pressman, the Wednesday goalkeeper. A fine win for Queen's Park Rangers, but special mention surely for Simon Barker's second goal.
I looked around and there was no one to pass to, so I thought, oh, well, I'll just give it a little bit of a chip and see how it goes. And you know, I'm not going to say it was luckily it went in, but I was well pleased with that. I think when you're scoring goals, you always feel that you can get back into games. And as I said, today we scored the goals and we held on to it. We defended well, and you know, we got the 3 points. Hopefully that will be a turn, but we've said that quite a few times this year. We just got to take it into the next game, and you know, we've got to try and win virtually every game this year, really, to make sure that we can get level.
Derbies are always tough, but professional players are usually the first to acknowledge serious injury. Chelsea's Eddie Newton broke his shin bone here in a total accident with his goalkeeper, an injury which could rule him out for the rest of the season. The concern of all players obvious, and Glenn Hoddle acknowledged Newton's outstanding contribution to Chelsea's form this season. West Ham, of course, are trying to pick up the momentum after the Grimsby experience in midweek. And when Gavin Peacock brushed aside West Ham's new central defence format, scoring his 4th goal in 5 games, the Hammers were in trouble. The main reason for this, Ruud Gullit, another virtuoso display which threatened to tear West Ham apart. How many players in the world can do that? But West Ham were unimpressed, none more so than Julian Dix. Danny's corner providing him with the answer to Gullit. The Hammers' double D combination, as unusual as it is effective. The Hammers sensed their second London derby success inside a week, and sure enough, with Chelsea perhaps thinking about Grimsby in the Cup, Danny Williamson crashed home the winner to round off a funny old week in the life of West Ham United.
Harry Gratian reporting there. Bolton's first away win in the league, but they're still 5 points adrift of QPR. Rangers stay next to last despite their victory at Sheffield Wednesday, but move to within 3 points of Manchester City. And Middlesbrough's 8th successive league defeat means they drop another place down the table. It's difficult to comprehend what's going on at Middlesbrough, isn't it? I mean, early in the season they're looking so good, best defence in the Premiership for a while.
Yeah, I think they're basically a shadow of the side they were early in the season. Obviously, if you start leaking bad goals, you're in trouble. Confidence is gone. They aren't in trouble yet, but unless they start winning quickly, then they're going to be in the relegation dogfight.
Yeah, and they're without Juninho at the moment because he's gone back to Brazil, which doesn't help, I guess.
Will he come back?
Well,
that's the question. I'm sure he will, but as Alan said, they've got to stop the rot fairly quickly because losing's a habit, and they've got to stop that habit.
Now, tomorrow's big game at Manchester.
Well,
Will you make a case for City?
Well, it's the 5th round of the Cup and the Twin Towers on the site. It'll be interesting because normally any team going to Old Trafford would defend deep, you know, and try and soak up the pressure. But because it's a derby game and because Alan Ball's the manager of the opposition, I think it'll be an open game and I think it'll be good for the viewers.
Thoughts, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, it's with a derby, it tends to equalise things. I know that Manchester City have not won one of those derbies for about 7 years or something, but in a one-off game, even though all the odds really are look in Manchester United's favour, you've got to give the outsiders a chance, and there's plenty of ammunition in the Manchester City side going forward. But they've got to sort of get it together at the back and stay tight.
Yeah. Who do you fancy for the Cup at this stage?
Well, I've got
Liverpool are the favourites, but they've still got to play in the 4th round tomorrow.
A couple of hard games coming. Villa look very good.
Yeah,
got a great chance.
Well, we've both tipped Liverpool anyway. We know he tipped Liverpool because he always tips Liverpool, doesn't he?
Tipped them for the league as well.
Yeah, he tips them for everything. But
some big names left in there.
There sure are. Yeah, yeah. There's good competition left. But
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of top sides, and Villa are going to take some beating. I mean, they were outstanding again today, and they're in both cup competitions, looking pretty good.
And you're on the radio tomorrow afternoon, Gary?
I'll be there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of the television. Thanks very much. Well, Huddersfield Town were seconds away from a big cup victory today, but you can take nothing for granted when you're up against the crazy gang. See you tomorrow.
Well, your heart will go out to Huddersfield if they can see the goal here. No disrespect to Wimbledon, but they're so close to the glittering prize. There seem to be more attackers than defenders. It's in! Ikoku! Oh dear!